What is up, everybody? There we go. There's the microphone. Welcome to yet another live stream. A little late this week, but nevertheless, we come through with episode number 96, consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream. And as always, I want to thank you for taking the time and spending it here with me on the Camera Junkie live stream. If it is the first time here, let me introduce myself. My name is Luis, or Louis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie. And please be sure to introduce yourself in the chat so that you can get the warm welcome from the Camera Junkie crew, who is always here to have a good time, learn a little, and enjoy ourselves in the process. So with that being said, let's go right ahead to see exactly who's here in the crew. As always, we have Mr. Moderator, the Paul Duncan. Thank you for hanging out. Paul was already sending me a message at 11, like, no live stream today. I'm like, absolutely not. There was no way that I was going to miss it. Just ran a little behind in time, hanging out with Doc Rock, and we decided to take photographs of Newburyport and all of the nice, pretty lights, trolleys, and all of the aesthetic that you get from being in a small town like that we are right now. Currently, I'm broadcasting live from Plum Island in Massachusetts. It's a quaint little area. We got beaches on both sides. It's very peaceful, serene, but it's also very cold, and that's what we've been dealing with. So we were all like, jacketed up and everything while we were just taking photos after we had our meal for dinner today. And that's also what made me get a little bit behind. But I'll tell you the truth, all of this was made possible because of the simple fact that when Doc was running his live stream earlier today, I was able to set this up roughly so that I can just get here and just knock it out. So we're live, a little late, but we're going to work through it. I'm going to be explaining, or we're going to be talking about this past week's experience. Last week, we talked about the People of Video conference. This week, we actually had the Leap into Podcasting virtual event hosted by Ecamm, and it was really cool. I was able to be a part of it in the behind the scenes, but we'll get to talking about that in a little bit. Okay, we also have Kevin saying hello to everyone, right? It says, recovering from Leap, what a packed 2 days. That is very well stated, Paul, because even Doc and I yesterday, we were so run down that it was like there was nothing happening. We got here and it was just like good night, man. It's just a wrap. Like, it took a lot because I was actually hosting the green room for the entire event, which I was very honored to be able to participate and to help out, the Ecamm fam and be working out of the Ecamm HQ for the week. So amazing experience for me. The fact that I was in a room working with Ken, Glenn, Doc Rock, Katie, Caleb, and Aiden hanging off to the side. And that has nothing to do with what I mentioned last week, that Ken and Glenn have a school built right into kind of like the Ecamm headquarters, and they have an amazing staff as well. So Lori, shout out to Lori, she is amazing, and she's taken a liking to Aiden. Who doesn't, right? Like I was telling Doc, people only like me because of Prince Aiden, but she took a liking and a care to Aiden, and was like stopping by every day to introduce like new toys and new things that was getting Aiden all excited. So it's just an amazing time that I've been able to have here, experience. Aiden has been enjoying himself. He kind of prefers Lori over me already. Like whenever he sees her, she's like, oh, the lady with all the cool stuff. So just like a favorite teacher, Lori has quickly fallen into Aiden's heart as well. So it's just been an awesome experience. I wouldn't change a thing about it. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, everyone's saying hello to each other. Kevin says, I totally feel you, and I was only an attendee. Yeah, and that's the whole thing, that even through the leap into podcasting, we also had like these like built-in breaks, like yoga stretch breaks, and Vincent Woon helping you with like self-therapy, so to speak. Excuse me. As you can see, the energy is running low, but the excitement is always high. But yeah, it was really cool event, and like I had just mentioned, I was actually hosting the green room. So before anyone was on stage, they had to come to me so that I can adjust or kind of double check their audio, their visual, make sure that all the equipment's being done before I would send them over to Doc Rock so that they can do their presentation. So I was able to speak for like a good 15 minutes before they went on onto the leap into podcasting event. And just to let you know, I was blown away with the amount of people that we look up to that recognized me within the same space, and I was really taken back. I was shocked, and like I said, it was very eye-opening, and it allowed me to start to see even more a little bit of the worth and the value that I provide in this space, which is something that I constantly try to do. But the fact that I had people like Ian Anderson Gray, Ash Borland, and quite a few others that were like, hey, like so excited to finally meet me and finally get to speak with me in person in a one-on-one type of like environment like that we're able to provide with Ecamm. And it was just eye-opening for me to know that I was being recognized the same way that I recognize people, and that was just another just like kind of like cherry on top, or sprinkles on your ice cream, is just added bonus that I wasn't even expecting, that really opened my eyes in this past week. So that was an amazing experience. So it was super cool. It says I was rearranging and organizing the studio at the same time. Progress has been made, but I still have my desk set up to tackle. Hey, it's always a work in progress. Last week I sat over there, but because of lighting and everything, I wanted to switch things up. So now I just scooted it and reversed it. So now all of the house lights that were, kind of my background I'm now trying to use as, like my key lights. And I think it looks pretty good. If I were to show you exactly what I'm dealing with, for those of you who actually saw my setup last week, or my box that I've created has been very interesting because I'm literally running everything out of the box, and I have my camera up on like a perch, so it's like sitting right above here. It is the most makeshift and kind of janky setup, but it works. And I have the microphone connected via, well, you can see it right here, an articulating arm, and the articulating arm is clamped onto my actual case. So my case is now my microphone tripod holder, also containing my Zoom PodTrack P4 with my Mac Mini, and being connected on the A6100. And actually, you know what, let me flip it up because I don't have external power running to it, so I need to monitor the battery while I do this. All right. And yes, okay, so now I can see the screen, hashtag team flip up, and it looks like I'm at 70% battery already, so definitely gotta keep an eye on that. But let's continue here. Paul is saying that Kevin is making progress. We have Mr. Sarkeesian saying, hello fam, how you doing, Richard? And once again, I want to thank you for the footage that you shared with us, the Ecamm fam, and myself from the People of Video conference. Everything's been like up to my eyeballs, and it's like time has been the biggest limitation right now because I want to do so much, yet I don't have all the time to do so. So for that reason, I haven't been able to like edit a lot of things. I was editing, a client's project this week while I was doing everything else through Ecamm. I'm also setting up, like the meetings that I'm going to be having with future clients that are going to be, I'm going to be onboarding. So all of this is going to be happening within this next month, or this month actually, because today is the 1st of October. So yeah. So now that we finished up September, to actually be, getting things prepared and working on these things, I'm really looking forward to a lot of that. If I'm seeing a message from Paul saying if I'm pixelating a little bit, there is a possibility. We are in Amesbury, Massachusetts, and I'm currently running it off of the Wi-Fi. I was trying to see if I can get it hardlined in, but it might not be a possibility. I also tried to downgrade. Oh, but you see, that's where I forgot. It could be pixelated. I downgraded the signal from 4K to HD on my camera, but I still think I'm pumping out 4K via Ecamm. Because doing it quick, I just reused last week's settings, so most likely that's what we're dealing with. So if you do see any pixelation, just know that we'll work through it. Hopefully the audio is still good and we can move on from there. But for this week, this is about as good as it's gonna get. I wanted to make it 1080p for those of you who don't understand, so that it can require less bandwidth to actually produce the live stream without a hitch. But when you're doing 4K, you're trying to maximize the bandwidth that you're getting from YouTube, and that's probably why it's slowing up a little bit or getting a little pixelated when you're running in 4K. But it is what it is. March on. We also have D here saying, what's up, Marine X? We got a new avatar. Nice photo, sir. I'm liking it. I also seen that you've been doing a lot of content recently, a lot of updates, live streams, and uploads. So really excited to catch up on that. Just like everything else, I've not had the time to really, like, every person that I've subscribed to on YouTube, I'm just gonna tell you, my bad, because I have not been able to even watch YouTube entertainment. I was gonna try to talk about this week's camera release, which is something that we talked about prior, which is the FX30, but I myself haven't had the ability to research a lot of the details on it to see kind of pretty much where it's gonna sit, who the camera is for, and if this is the camera that I'm going to buy. It's a big possibility because of the simple fact that it does have the one key thing that I mentioned before, which is what Sony needed to put in their next APS-C camera, which is the 422 10-bit color. And I think it's got 422 and 420 plus S-Cinetone, a bunch of different codecs that are being applied to this camera. It has the same body as the FX3, which is not small. That's the one thing. So this camera is a little big for the APS-C size compared to the other Sony cameras, but in the same breath, I can honestly tell you it's a lot smaller than the Canon, what was it, the cinema one that they came out with, the C70, right? The C70, which is their cinema APS-C Super 35 flip out screen with a fan. Not only does it cost a lot less, but also is gonna give you a much, to me, a better image quality with the built-in image stabilization, which the Canon does not have, and the size comparative, just holding them, that C70 is so much bigger. And with Sony's processing, you're still gonna get the same type of battery life out of this FX30 than you would, because they're using the NPF 70 batteries, I believe. And that's the ones with the higher capacity used on their higher, or their flagship type of cameras. So that being the bigger battery with the APS-C sensor and the super efficient processor that are built into it, we're probably going to see really good battery life out of this FX30. And the fact that it's shooting 4K 120. Okay, so that's a good thing. Okay, I just got a message from the computer, said that the local recording has stopped, and that's probably because this computer is nice and full on the hard drive. I've been working its booty off this past week, but I digress on that. But yeah, this FX30 camera is really piquing my interest, but I do have to do a little bit more research on it to give you the best analysis of it. Right now, the camera looks like it's everything that it's cracked up to be, but we will find out, I will find out a little bit more on it before I start speaking my mind. Apologies. As you can see, it's like the world is falling on me in this live stream, and I'm yawning, but we march on. All right, we have Sly saying hello here. We have Carlos, Mr. Tacos, also saying what's up. Gretchen is in the house. Gangster Grandma. She says, "Hey, Lewis, I'm on the road tonight somewhere outside of Vegas. I missed out of Leap while driving, though, remote areas of Oregon and Nevada." Yeah, I bet that's really hard to get, coverage in those areas while you're on the road. If it weren't for this, and like you could say, some of y'all might even be seeing me a little pixelated, that all has to do with the connection. So if it's one thing that I miss right now from Miami, it's kind of like the warm weather and the internet connection. Yeah. All right, so Paul is saying Val is doing her last performance in Las Vegas tonight. So we'll always know you're a rock star. Oh, thank you, Gretchen. She said, "We've always known you're a rock star." Thank you. So at the end of the Diana Ross tour. Ooh. So yes, our good friend Valerie, she is a backup singer for Diana Ross, which is something that I don't think I would have ever thought I can say in my entire life. Like someone that I consider a friend who is a backup singer to one of like the biggest performers pretty much ever, Miss Diana Ross. So we're always talking about her Diana versus our Diana, because When she references Diana, it's Miss Ross, and when we reference Miss Diana, it's Miss Diana Gladney, Miss D. So it's always fun, but just amazing and super cool that she's finishing up that tour over here in Las Vegas. And Gretchen says that would be fun to catch. That would be cool, and I know it's probably just a phone call away from you getting in contact with her and probably getting you into that show. So hey, and if you haven't done so already, if you're hanging out, please be sure to hit the like button. It goes a long way and is highly appreciated. It just, lets me know that you like the service that I'm or the content that I'm providing here on my channel. Okay, I'm guessing my mods already took care of Mr. McFry, so I'm just gonna leave that there. Richard saying my pleasure. Hey dude, I just can't wait to get my hands on it. I still have my own footage that I was trying to record, but here's another little tidbit. This week the Mac Mini really couldn't handle what I was trying to do, and while I was editing the Flow podcast, my Mac Mini Final Cut Pro took a crap, and it was crazy because only when I was trying to play the footage on the timeline, my entire Final Cut Pro would just crash and fail, and I had to do an entire process. And big ups to Doc Rock for helping me, because we were trying to figure out, but I had to kind of like reset and get rid of all my cache data within the computer and Final Cut Pro, start it clean, and then like kind of reopen up the projects that I had available, and that allowed me so sorry, that allowed me to actually get back into using this computer with those projects. But the entire Flow podcast I had to edit on Doc Rock's Apple, which in the Air 2, so the Apple M2 Air 2, right? All these names are running. So it's the Apple MacBook Air M2, and he got the new 11-inch, but I needed to use it because it was the only one that was working off the Final Cut Pro. So I took my hard drive and started running the program there to complete the work. So I was able to do okay, so I was able to edit the Flow podcast on the M2 MacBook Air. And what I learned is that thing is running phenomenally. Like, that thing worked so well that it really left me shocked that it didn't, like, besides the fact that I didn't have my Stream Deck installed and that I had to use, like the keyboard shortcuts instead of my Stream Deck, I was able to connect my mouse and get some basic functionality. But besides that, this thing actually handled the entire project surprisingly well. That has really got me thinking about, my next computer purchase and what I'm going to do. I'm definitely going to upgrade my laptop. With which laptop I'm going to upgrade it, I'm not sure, but definitely that's the next step. Because if the M2 Air can handle, like the editing that I require, then that opens up a lot of options for me. So I'll be looking into what happens, and I have to be honest, like, I try to use my Intel based Mac right now, and it's just too slow for me to actually use it. That's what it is. Like, I try to use it, and a lot of limitations that it has. The biggest limitation, and I'm just gonna say because the truth is that it cannot have universal control. I'm already a universal control snob, Like, I use it for everything, and the fact that I can switch between my Mac Mini and my Mac Studio without pressing anything and just swinging it into that screen with my mouse is amazing. I can't control the yawning, guys. I'm doing my best, but the fact that I could only have one keyboard, installed, and am able to type in all the browsers and all the notes from all the things is kind of like what I'm missing for my laptop, and it sucks that it doesn't have it. It has like stopped me from using the laptop as much as I want to because it doesn't have the universal control that easily allows me to, like switch over to that. And all the limitations of the Intel chipset, when it comes to the programs that I'm using and, the plugins and the software that apply to it. And it's not ideal for me now. So for that reason, I'm really going to be looking into upgrading that machine and seeing what I get my hands on to see what's going to be like the next step. And I think that one will definitely help me as well when it comes to like mobile editing and what I can do with that machine. I can definitely tell you from my own experience, M2 silicone rocked. It just rocked. It really was a huge difference, especially from my M1 Mac Mini. All right. Paul says, I just have some sparkle. I'm thinking you guys are talking about the pixelated. Pixelated is making a comeback. Lewis is styling. That's funny. Yep, the pixelation on like 8-bit. I'm gonna look like what is it? The game. Not Roblox, it's Minecraft. Yeah. So I'm gonna look like a Minecraft character with all the pixelation. Yes, and Mr. Motter is saying, don't forget to hit the like button. Please hit the like button. It is highly appreciated, and it's free. And if you haven't done so already, if you're part of the stream and you're enjoying the content, make sure that you also hit the subscribe button so that you can be informed of the next live stream, or you can just jot it down on your calendar because it happens. I want to say every Saturday night at 11, even though today was 11:15, but different circumstances. So we're just gonna roll with it. Okay, so D is saying, I pre-ordered the new B-Cam for the FX3. Now I can stop my gas when it comes to cameras. That is great. And if you pre-ordered it, I know that that's actually going to be a perfect companion for the FX3. Interesting question that I have for you. Did you order it with the handle or without? Because I believe it's even less expensive without the handle. And I also heard that it was hard to find with the handle. But the cool thing is that if you have the handle from the FX3, it is the same exact thing. And with the multimedia interface hot shoe, you're not going to have a problem. It's going to clip in and start using good audio. So really thinking about this camera. But like I said, I still got to do some research on it. Says the Marine X, it's only stopped temporarily. Gas will be back. Well, I can't say anything because my motto here is, I always say, is upgrade your skills before your gear. But it's, before, not upgrade your skills only and never your gear. It's before your gear. And even me, I'm getting the itch for my new camera. I can't wait to see what I'm going to pull the trigger, because even though the FX30 is a great cinema camera, I don't really use it in that manner. I want to get 10-bit. I want to start shooting in 10-bit so that I can have better color range, dynamic range in the colors when I'm doing post-production work. 8-bit is not that much. It's great, but you really pretty much have to dial it in correctly, the first time. And there's not a lot of push and pull when it comes to the, colors and what you can do with them in post. With these cameras, it's going to be totally different, especially with the 10-bit and the 422. But there is another camera that's just coming out around the corner. Excuse me. So there is a new camera, which is the Sony Alpha R7 V. The R standing for resolution. Now, I have the A7 II. The A7R2, excuse me. And that one is a 42.2 megapixel, and I get amazing images. Right now, they are in version 4, model 4 of the A7R, and that one is a 61.1 megapixel. And it looks like we're gonna get a new camera within the vicinity of like 95 to 100 megapixels, which is insane. That just means that you're able to get even wide shots and crop in with adequate lenses that can give you that sharp focus throughout the focal range, and you can reshape a shot and get a lot more data, because that's just gonna be amazing. So now, if the A7R5 is within a comparable price, and it also gives me the ability to shoot the 422 in the 10-bit, which I don't see why it wouldn't, but I digress. And if it has all of the video features that I want, plus the high megapixels photography and an amazing viewfinder, which I absolutely love using. That's part of why I love the flip up screen and the traditional type of foldable LCDs in the back, because I really do use the viewfinder a lot. Especially like today, I was just all over Newburyport taking photos just before the live stream, and I was just having a lot of fun hanging out with Doc Rock and bringing Aiden along for the ride. So just another cool experience, and happy that I was able to take advantage of the time tonight. We have plans to go do something else tomorrow, but I want to take some photos more during like the daytime today, because of circumstances, being so tired from the leap into podcasting and kind of sleeping in the morning to then go to Doc Rock's live stream, set this up, and continue throughout the day. Everything's just been piling up, so I will do the most that I can with the time that I have, but I'm always looking forward to make the most of my everyday. So it looks like tomorrow I want to go shooting again, but with more daytime, and probably see if we can catch a sunset. There's a cool little club slash bar that's right off of the entrance to Plum Island, and it's called the Sunset Club. And they actually put on like a little chalkboard the time of the sunset that's gonna happen every day. So roughly like around 6:30 ish is when we will have the sunset. So looking forward to standing on that spot and taking some photos of it tomorrow. All right, Melanie is in the house. She's waving hello. How are you doing? Hopefully you're fine and safe in Florida. I've gotten in contact with my family and friends, and so far so good. Everything's been okay, but I'm not sure how, or if they all have power, no power, so on and so forth. Adam is here in the house. He's got a question. It says, how is your home after the hurricane? Well, I spoke to my landlord down there in Miami, and just being in communication with him. The house seems to be fine, so no, nothing that I have to worry about there. But also, it's like Miami, and Miami didn't get the brunt of this hurricane. Kind of the west coast of Florida, coming from the Tampa to the Orlando area, is what really got hit the most, from my understanding. But that's a whole nother thing. I don't watch the news, so I really haven't had a lot to keep up with. I've just been speaking with family and friends, because they're the ones who are going through it, and like I said, so far so good. Paul said, I had an FCP problem too and had to do all of that. That's very interesting. So you see, I was planning on it because it was such a pain in the ass for me to do it that I was like, if it was such a pain in the ass for me, that means somebody else is going through this as well, and it wasn't something that I easily found the information on how to fix it online, just going through my regular Google searches, so on and so forth. So with that being said, I'm really thinking about creating a video talking about that and how to fix it if you experience it, because it's a little tedious. It's not that hard, so I know I'll be able to convey the correct information so that people will not get lost in trying to do this within the subsystem and removing the cache files of the program in particular. But if done correctly, this could save you a lot of time and headache, because I had already re-downloaded Final Cut Pro and then deleted it and started doing all the traditional like backup and restore features of something that's web based. And with that, so that's pretty much where I'm at with that. Paul says, I am the same. I would be lost without universal control. Hey, I can't emphasize that enough. My new laptop has to have universal control, just so that I can pop it over here, and it's just game changer. Okay, so Dion's saying, I have moved my M1 Mac Mini as my dedicated streaming machine. I use the keyboard with the 12-inch screen by Fishship. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe that's the brand. And my iPad Pro as on Sidecar. That's a whole nother thing. I sold my iPad because I really wasn't using it, and I haven't really missed it. So I'm not sure if an iPad is in my future because of my workflow. I really gonna have to see how the iPad would fit once I get my new laptop. Like once I replace my laptop and I see how that flow works, because in all sincerity, the most that I was using the iPad for was to write scripts for my videos. It was just because I like the keyboard that I was using with it. But there's possibilities that I can switch that up completely, and if my new Mac can do that aspect, which is fairly or overkill capable for text documents, right? I'll probably just be looking into that, because if I don't really need it, I won't be spending the money on an M1 iPad just for just to use it with Sidecar. Alright, Paul is giving the link to my Discord server. Yes, and it's highly appreciated. John is here, says, all my editing is done by my MacBook Pro M1 Max, and it was such an awesome upgrade from the Intel MacBook. I run several video formats from GoPro to Insta360 and Sony cameras. It never stutters. Yeah, but like I said, this is well known, right, from the M1 Max. I have the M1 Max in my Mac Studio. Runs phenomenal, but people, or better said, so many videos from so many variety of different creators on the same platform, YouTube, came out and started talking a lot of smack about the M2 Air, the MacBook Air M2, and about thermal throttling and it overheating and doing all this stuff. Hey, I always said, how is it in just a use case scenario, like you using it as your computer every day, with no qualms? And I can honestly tell you that thing just rocks. So yeah, the M2, it just rocked. It's the edit. I don't know really what people are complaining about, thermal throttling, this and that, and all of it done on a battery. Just amazing. No slowdown whatsoever, whether you're plugged in or on a battery. Great job. Interesting because it was very convenient, very light. and I know that already the M2, even in the basest of form, will run circles around my Intel laptop that really makes it obsolete. Makes it obsolete like pretty much instantly. So, all right. So he says, no handle. I already have the handle for my FX3. I prefer recording into the sound device Mix Pre 3 Mark II for the clean gain and the noise assist. I recorded in the garage with zero sound treatment. That's awesome. For those of you who don't know, I'm using a particular type of sound treatment digital called Crisp Audio. I made a video about it. If you're interested, you can go check it out. And I also have a link to them so that you can start using the program. It's not an affiliate link, it's just a program that I use. I paid for it outright for the year, and I don't see myself using anything else. Like I said, it's called Crisp Audio, and the main thing that it does is that it blocks out air conditioning and Aiden's making noise while I'm on a live stream. And for those two things, it is worth its weight in gold. Even though it's a digital product and it doesn't weigh anything, it's worth however much your own weight is in gold, because this thing is awesome. I'm using it right now, and it really clears up a lot of the levels and definitely keeps my audio super, super clean. All right. Yes, Paul says, hopefully the roads will be clear when I get back. Yep, that's what I said. I'm hoping that there is availability by the time I get to the state of Florida. They're just not blocking everything else off. But like I said, I did speak with my father. He said like everything's okay. He still has power, so that's a good thing. And that it really didn't do as much damage as they expected. The hurricane kind of never does, right? Most people don't know that within a hurricane you could have a variety of different tornadoes, and the tornadoes within the hurricane are what cause like the most damage and like the bursts of energy that a hurricane can provide. So apparently an airport near my home over there in Pembroke Pines called Perry Airport, it's famous for like Cessnas and single engine planes. Apparently like all the planes took all the damage because a tornado ripped through it while the hurricane was in that area, and a tornado just uplifted a bunch of planes and buildings, like the plane hangars, which are just kind of like these half domed, circular or cylindrical like metal buildings. They're not really that tied down, so to speak. They kind of just put together to be a weather coating for the planes, and any tornado is gonna grab that as like paper and make it into nothingness. So we will see, but that's the thing about hurricanes that most people don't know, is that the biggest danger is not the hurricane itself, it's the tornadoes within the hurricane. Gretchen also saying universal control is such a great tool, one of my favorites. Kathy is here saying hello to me and to the crew. How are you doing? It was so cool to see you again at People of Video. Cool that we were, get to hang out with such amazing people, and thank you for stopping by and saying what's up here in the Camera Junkie live stream. All right, and Paul and you guys are saying hi to each other. There you go, saying hi to K-Wall. Thank you, Paul, for putting the link, the Crisp AI. It's what I use. Yeah, absolutely love this program. It's like, it doesn't matter where you're at. You can literally be outdoors, and I've heard of content creators recording their videos outdoors and not really paying attention to the audio, and then when they go to try to utilize it, they can't, because somebody was playing a faint music from their car stereo in the background of music that's not copyrighted, and because of it, you can't use that footage because you recorded with that baked in. So Crisp Audio gives you the ability to clean up music, sound effects, or anything that's coming through your microphone that is not your voice. And then what you build around that is pretty much up to you. Okay, thank you, Paul. And Paul put the link to my video about Crisp AI. And everybody is saying hello to each other. Kevin is agreeing with me, saying that tornadoes are so destructive, and they are. There was parts of like this hurricane while it was going through South Florida that had 3 consecutive tornadoes at the same time. That's where all the danger lies. So grew up with them in Ohio. Wow. Yeah, super dangerous. Super dangerous. And let's not even get into these people who are like storm chasers. It's cool to see a movie about it, but when you're in real life, I'm not sure how you want to be chasing a tornado like that, but I digress. And Paul saying, me too in Iowa and Missouri. Yep. Gretch is saying, gotta go up early for tomorrow for sunrise shoots. Final 6-hour drive to Phoenix. Get some rest with my friends, and big hug for Aiden from Grandma G. Absolutely. Little side note, Aiden wasn't feeling too well yesterday. He got a little bit of a runny nose and was kind of running a fever yesterday, so I was monitoring him big time. But luckily all is good, and he was laughing and playing all day today. Literally all he ended up with was a boogery nose. So cleaned the bogeys throughout the day, and he was just a happy camper. Okay, Paul says, I would not do a video or a stream without Crisp, and they keep making it better. I highly recommend it. And yeah, says you need to get some sleep. I do. I'm not gonna front. It's like my iPhone battery is telling me boop, boop. Yeah, because I need to get some rest. I'm just exhausted. Melanie says, I had to re-edit and upload a video at the gym because the song was playing too long and was copyrighted. You see, that's exactly what I'm saying. And with Crisp AI, none of that music would come through. I'm also working on a way to be able to take these files that are recorded, right, and then kind of extract the audio, run the audio through Crisp as if it were to be live, and then take that file and add it back to the video after it's been crispified. Now, there are no plugins that you can use directly, so I'm looking into the best way to try to do this. What I have in mind right now is basically download the audio file, right? Or extract the audio file from the video that you're running on the timeline. So let's say you have a 20-minute video and you put it on there, and like Melanie just said that she had to re-edit this video at the gym because the song was playing for too long, right? So at the gym, you know that you really can't run your computer setup so that you can run Crisp. So just record it normally, then take the file, extract the audio from it through your NLE, your editor, extract that file and send it back to your iPhone. That's what I'm thinking. So I would extract the file and then airdrop it to my iPhone. Once it's on my iPhone, I can play that audio however many times as I want, because it's just like an MP3 or a song. I'm just playing the audio. So at that moment, I'm thinking that once I throw it back onto the phone, I am able to connect the phone via Bluetooth or a different manner, maybe hardline, to my PodTrack P4 or my Rodecaster Pro 2 that's at the house. Once I have that audio coming in, it's going to think that it is a microphone, like a standard microphone. So it will apply all of the crisp AI, power to that audio, because it just thinks that it's a microphone. It cannot tell if it was pre-recorded or not. Doesn't really matter. Once you do that, you're able to record that audio that's being played through your phone and cleaned up through Crisp onto like Ecamm into another file directly. And then once you have that, you have the crisp audio that's been cleaned up with the program, and then you're gonna install that into the camera. Listen to me. You're gonna install that, and you should be good. So yeah, not to the camera. Getting my thoughts straight. You will reinsert the recorded audio that you've done into Crispy onto the original video, and that should give you the ability to have removed all of that background music, like Melanie was saying, even though you don't know that it's there, right? Crisp and the AI is like, it's listening to everything, even songs in the background. So to prevent it, I would suggest doing something of that manner, but I need to kind of create that workflow to see how I can make it as easy as possible to clean up all background noise, so that then you can use the crisp audio and not have copyrighted sounds and music in your videos. And that is where I'm gonna call it, guys. Look, Mr. Moderator, he said the old man says end stream. Guys, I'm doing my best, but there's really nothing left in the tank. I need to recharge, but I have to thank you all. I came in the last moment. I'm going to forego City's God this week because I didn't even have time to look something up that was relevant to what I was talking about as far as podcasting goes. But if you are part of the Discord, I'm gonna see about adding something there, to supplement it. So channels that I think you should go and watch, that will be postponed till next week. And with that being said, guys, I always want to thank you for taking the time and spending it here with me. Your most precious commodity, time, something that you can use but you can never get back. And you're here with me on the Camera Junkie live stream, and that means the world to me. Without you, most likely none of this will be happening, but I am always grateful, humbled over the experiences that I've been able to accumulate and acquire within the last couple to 3 years. And I tell you, this is the best part of my week, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. So next week, Saturday, I will most likely be broadcasting from a hotel as I drive back down to Miami, because I will be leaving Amesbury on Thursday. I believe that's when the Air B&B and we're all wrapped up with this. So the plan is I'm going to be dropping off Doc Rock at the airport around, I believe, 6 o'clock in the morning. And once that's done, I have kind of the day to see what I get into, see if I stop by Boston or some of the surrounding areas to get some footage, to get some video of documenting my experience. And once I'm done with that, if I even get into that, as soon as I'm done dropping off Doc Rock, I have the ability to just start driving back home, and that's what I'm going to start doing. And I'm going to try to plan some things out, meet up with some people along the way. I kind of have something set up with Miss Felicia Alston. She is in Savannah, Georgia, and because I stopped by there on the way up, she heard about it and she was like, nope, you got to stop by on the way down. So that's one of the stops that I think I'm gonna have to put in on, in addition to the route as I'm heading back to Miami. But I'm really looking forward to, also meeting certain people like Felicia that weren't able to make people a video, which would be really, really cool. And with that, I am going to be saying good night, everyone. I'm just going to be putting some comments here saying they're telling me to get some rest. Safe trip between travels. Mr. Kevin Cox is letting me know that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Paul is saying, have a great week. So is John saying, take care. Have a great week, everyone. Absolutely. We also have Kathy. And Kevin telling me to go recharge batteries. Yeah. I think this was the live stream that I yawned the most. Hands down. And I've had some 3.5 and 4 hour live streams. But the tank is empty. I need to refill or refuel. But guys, as always, take care of yourselves and each other. Once again, next week, Saturday, 11 p.m., same time, same channel. I can't wait to see you here. Another week of things to talk about in next week's Camera Junkie live stream. Guys, you rock and have a great night. I will see you in the next one. I don't know where it's my outro, but we're gonna find it. There we go.